Hey guys, Sunstreaker Water here, and today's video is all about rating all the 5 stars in the game to try and give people an educated guess on which batch to pull from. Now, I've given all the 5 stars a score out of 5, 1 to 5. 5 being really good, 1 being not so good. And although all 5 stars have a use and are, good in some way, I've judge them on how much value they are for money they spent, how much time you've got to invest getting them, and how they compare to their 4 star or another bot that's similar that could do a similar job, which will obviously bring down their rating. So, jumping straight in to the first batch. So, first of all, I've given Grimlock 4 out of 5. He's got decent health, decent DPS, low cost to his ability, and an all-round good bot, really. He's not quite a tank. He's not quite really got great DPS, but a good all-rounder. Silver Ball, again, we've given 4 out of 5 because he's got really cheap ability. You can spam his ability and take out a lot of defenses very quickly, even at HQ 17. And he has great DPS as well, also. So, yeah, a really decent bot still. No, again, I'll give him 4 out of 5. Really good, strong bot, great DPS, amazing DPS. Not so great health, which has probably brought his score down from a 5, but altogether a really good bot. Hot Rod, I've given 2 out of 5, and the reason I've given 2 is because his ability is quite costly. It's decent on rush bots, but then for the cost involved, I don't think it's really worth it. He's got decent DPS and decent health, but I think compared to the 4 star, he's not amazing compared. I just think there's a lot of bet botters out there. And Sunstreaker, I've given 3 out of 5, sadly. Even though he is my counterpart, he has a decent ability, which is still quite costly in the game. And you can't quite one-shot. His ability is inconsistent. And even though it's a gunner, which has brought his score up maybe, I just think his ability is quite costly for the effect it has and how slow it burns. So overall, this batch has got 17 out of 25. Okay, batch 2. So first off, we have Optimus Prime, 5 out of 5. Amazing bot, great health, great DPS, great all-rounder. You can't rush without him. And with HQ 17 coming into its own, more people will be rushing. And the rush attack has been there since day one, has never gone. Amazing bot to get. Wheeljack, I've given 4 out of 5. Personally, I don't really like healers, but I can understand people that like healers and like to walk. And I think that if you do walk, then a 5-star healer is a must. So for a walk team, it's probably 5 out of 5. But on the overall, if you do other tactics, healers aren't as good. And I've given him 4 out of 5 for that. Skyburst, I've given 4 out of 5. Some people may say that she deserves 5. But in my opinion, the lack of her ability brings her down. She can't one-shot. It's not really AoE. It does a bit of damage to a big area in a line, but can be quite fiddly sometimes, depending on the range, and you don't get any guaranteed damage. So that's the reason that she's got 4 out of 5 and not 5. Drift, I've also given 4 out of 5. Really cheap ability. Great bot to use. Wouldn't say amazing, but a good all-rounder, and I would not be disappointed with pulling Drift. Windblade, I've given 3 out of 5. And before her buff, I'd have given her 1. I'd have said she's awful. She has improved. She's not quite there yet. Probably a good one-shot bot, but still a lack of health after she's used ability. Gets her in trouble very quickly. Good popping outposts, but not amazing. So 3 out of 5. And this batch overall has been given 20 out of 25. So batch 3, we have Ultra Magnus, and I've given him 2 out of 5. And some may think that is maybe a bit harsh on Ultra Magnus, but his pathing, because he has a ranged attack, isn't the best. He paths differently than other tanks, so you have to be careful with that. His ability isn't guaranteed damage, So you can't use his ability, and it's quite costly. So ability-wise, I don't think he's worth the 5-star investment. It's basically just really an improvement, a bit of damage, which is random, and more health and more DPS, which joins with for the investment of time you're going to spend on a 5-star and already spent getting it. I just don't think it's worth it. Jazz, I'm giving 3 out of 5. And again, some people may think this is a bit harsh, but I just think that 9 ability points is a lot for what he actually does. You can't one-shot HQ 17s. You can't one-shot HQ 16 before level 60. He's he's a good gunner, and that's probably what's brought his score up. The fact that he is a gunner. Gunners are quite essential in the game, but I think his ability is a bit outdated. Springer, I've given 2 out of 5. He was good in some gimmicky attacks, but nowadays his attacks are okay, but again, quite situational. Good all-rounder, but doesn't really excel in anything really. Firefly, I've given 1 out of 5 because he's a jet. They're quite squishy and low in health, even with their buff. They can one-shot, but I think one-shot bots are a bit overrated and not really used as much anymore. People go towards AoE attacks, and I think jets all round are a bit outdated, even with the latest buff, and that's why we're given 1 out of 5, because I just don't think it's really worth the investment. Cheetor, I've given 4 out of 5. Brilliant bot, amazing DPS. If you can put Amalgamous on Cheetor, then he's pretty much unstoppable at clearing bases up. And I have in my war team, and an absolutely amazing bot to have. The only thing that's brought him down is his health can get him in trouble sometimes. So that's why he's 4 out of 5. And the next batch is Legacy 4. And in this batch we have Elita, who we've given 5 out of 5. And in my opinion, probably the best 5-star there is to get. An absolutely amazing bot, applicable on pretty much every single team out there. And I don't think that if you pull her, you can be disappointed in any way on any team. This is the bot to get. Blaster, I've also given 5, and in my opinion, the second best 5-star out there. Amazing again on every single team you could possibly run. Great health, amazing health, also half decent DPS, and the guy just does not die. The guy stays alive for a long time. Well worth the investment, and if you pull this guy, you should be really happy. Sludge, I've given 4 out of 5, and the only reason that I have given Sludge 4 out of 5 is that although he is amazing against time traps and he has amazing health, time traps are slowly dying out of the game because they know that people level Sludge so much. So he's come be kind of just a tank recently. People are more in favour of single walls, pathing bots round. So his ability is slightly outdated, even though they have reduced the cost. But an absolutely humongous bot in terms of health. Awful DPS, but that's not his use. You can still use him in many, many different squads, and a great bot. Prowl, I've given 3 out of 5. Again, the fact he's a gunner has brought his score up, but one-shot bots, again, are a bit outdated, and although he is a really good bot, and I wouldn't be disappointed for this batch, there is a lot better bots out there that are worth your time and money. Ratchet, I have given 4. Personally, I would probably put him lower, but I think that a lot of people use him. And again, healers are really applicable in the game for walk teams and essential. So people that walk bases will probably put healers 5 out of 5, but I don't use them. And I think that shows that they are applicable in most teams, but not all. And that's why I've given him 4 out of 5. So Legacy 5, we have Snarl, who I've given 3 out of 5. Now, people have said to me that if you put Amalgamous on Snarl, he's amazing. Without it, he's okay. But I just think that to put one core on a bot to make it amazing is a bit disappointing, really. And although he's a really good bot, great DPS and decent health, his ability is not amazing, but it's good. But a good all-rounder. And again, 3 out of 5. Rodimus Prime, I've given 4 out of 5. Being used a lot more, we're seeing in wars, and a really strong bot with great health and DPS, and his ability is up there with the best of them for your squads, especially with a Smash squad and Russian Smash and things like that, and a really good bot to get. Warpath, 4 out of 5. Probably the best gunner there is out of all the batches, especially against HU17. I've seen people using him already against HU17s, taking out a good section of the base and help with pathing. Although it can get quite expensive, which has maybe brought his score down, his ability is huge in terms of range and a really good bot to get. Perceptor, I've given 3 out of 5. Again, he is a really good bot situationally. Situationally, against some bases, I would put him 5 out of 5. He can be amazing against Shock Towers with Thunderstorm on, but people are getting wise to that. People are starting to space out their Shock Towers away from other defenses to stop this, and I just feel like people are getting wise from now, and that's why we give him 3 out of 5. RC, I've given 1 out of 5, and the reason for that is that her 4-star counterpart Rook is a lot better. He has a better ability. He's a better bot. And although RC has better DPS, a 5-star should never be poorer than a 4-star. And I think if there's any bot in here that needs a buff now, it's RC. And in my opinion, 1 out of 5. And out of this batch, I would be really disappointed if I pulled her right now, considering I have Rook. If you don't have Rook, she's a really good bot popping outposts. But if you're going to have a choice, go for 4-star Rook and avoid RC. Now we're on to the current batch, and this is batch 6. And first of all, we have got First Aid, which I have given 4 out of 5. And the reason I'm giving 4 out of 5 is again because it's a healer and it's essential for this for the game if you're a walk sort of player. And his medibots are amazing. I use them sometimes in wars. I've stopped recently. I tend to go with more of a non-healer attack. But his medibots are second to none at keeping your bots alive with a 40% reduction. So a great ability, probably the best ability out of all 3 of the 5-stars. Hotspot, I've given 4 out of 5. And although I wouldn't use him on my team, with a G1 core on top of his ability currently, you can get 80% reflection damage, which is humongous. He has ridiculous health, and I think he's essential for a walk team. And both First Aid and Hotspot will be amazing pulls if you walk bases. Sandstorm, I've given 4 out of 5. An amazing bot with amazing damage. The only thing that's stopping him from being a 5 is the fact that he has low health and the fact that it can get quite costly. But his ability, if you can get it off and you can afford it, then it's devastating and amazing and can give your health, your bots a ridiculous health boost. Goldfire, 5 out of 5. For me and the way I attack, this guy is essential. I couldn't do without him. Absolutely amazing. The highest damage out of all the 5-stars in the game. And an absolutely ridiculous ability. He is quite low on health, and it tends to be sort of a suicide bot, but if you use him that way, it can be absolutely devastating. Rust Dust, we're given 4 out of 5. And the only reason she's not been given 5 is because she is quite low on health, and although her normal static ability of stunning defenses is amazing, and her AoE ability is crazily good, I just think that the low health can get her in trouble sometimes, as with most scouts, and that's why we give her 4 out of 5. So, just going through the batches again. So, just to recap, Legacy 1, we've given 17 points out of 25. Legacy 2, we've given 20 out of 25. Legacy 3, we've given 12 out of 25. Legacy 4, we've given 21 out of 25. Legacy 5, we've given 16 out of 25. And number 6, we've given 21 out of 25. Which, in my opinion, and this is a broad opinion on if you were pulling and you don't have a particular style and just wanted a good bot, batch 6 and batch 4 are the 2 best batches to pull from. And I think if you pull any in them batch, you won't be disappointed and they will be useful in your team. Soon after that, on 20 points, just 1 point behind, is batch 2. And again, a good all-round batch with no really bad pulls and all worthy of your time. After this, we have batch 1, sorry. Batch 1 has a few decent bots, a couple of bots in there that you may not want, will be okay, but are not game changers. After that, we have batch 5, which is 16 out of 25. And again, some good bots, but there's also one really bad pull in there that's pulled the score down. And I just think that these bots are not game changers again, but can be really good in your squads. And last of all, batch 3. And I think batch 3 is really underpowered. None of them will really revitalize and change your squad other than maybe Cheetor. And none of them will really improve your war scores overnight. And I just think for the time and money that you invest in a 5-star, I personally wouldn't pull from batch 3. So try and stay away and look for the other batches where there are more worthy bots. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate everyone that watches my channel. If you can please subscribe to the channel so that I can make more content for you guys. The more subscribers I get, spurs me on to do more of these videos. If you've got any suggestions for any more videos, put them in the chat. I have a stream every night around 7 PM UTC, 8 PM GMT. And if you want to come in and just talk Transformers, we do giveaways and just general Transformers chat. And come and join us for that. And for now, guys, thanks for watching and peace out.